It's not hard to imagine Emmitt Smith or Troy Aikman becoming as prolific as some of the great players in Cowboy history, a history that has produced enough stars to fill a galaxy. Now, two of the brightest were running back Tony Dorsett, the second leading rusher in NFL history, and Roger Staubach, Captain Comeback, the Cowboys Hall of Fame quarterback.
The biggest thing about Roger was the fact that he never quit. It didn't matter how much the Cowboys were down. I remember in San Francisco, they were ahead of us 14 or 15 points, and it was 3 minutes to go or something, and they were coming by our bench and hollering obscene things at us and calling us losers. And I'll never forget, Roger pulled the game out, and a few seconds before it was over, completed a pass to Lee Folkens, and we beat him. And that was the greatest comeback I'd ever seen, but he did it over and over and over throughout the years.
I believed that Roger was going to win every game that we played in, no matter how much time was left in the ballgame. I always believed that Roger could win the game.
Well, the Cowboys need a miracle. Roger takes the snap, pumps it once. He's going long, down the near sideline for Drew Pearson. Pearson makes the catch at the 5, touchdown! Staubach hit Pearson on a 50-yard touchdown. Would you believe it?
The greatest thing about Roger Staubach was he was a tremendous competitor. You could not do anything with Roger. I don't care what you were doing, whether you were just taking a 40-yard sprint or you were playing one-on-one basketball, he's not going to let you beat him. I don't care what the stakes are, whether it's just for fun. That's what made him great.
Like all quarterbacks, Roger Staubach had an intense desire to win. And like all the great quarterbacks, he could communicate that desire to his receivers, often lifting them above their normal capabilities. Staubach had a certain sense of confidence in himself and in the team that caught the imagination of players and fans alike. Part of him was as sweet and as innocent as a choir boy. But the part of him that was a football player was a pure killer.
I tell you, when I went out against other teams, they were the enemy. I mean, I didn't like them, and I didn't particularly after the game go over and want to shake everybody's hand either. I mean, I wasn't a poor sport, but heck, that's, you know, those guys are the guys that you need to play again. You need to beat them again, and you can't get too close to your enemy.
More than a quarterback, Roger Staubach was a leader. It was his character and courage, rather than his talent, that carried him beyond the playing field and into the realm of popular myth. He was the White Knight of the Cowboys' Camelot, the Galahad of the gridiron, who was as flawless off the field as he was on it.
Roger, you have an all-American image. You're kind of a straight guy. Do you enjoy it, or is it a burden?
You interviewed Joe Namath. Everyone in the world compares me to Joe Namath, you know, as far as, you know, the idea of off the field. He's single, bachelor swing, and I'm married and family, and, you know, he's having all the fun. And, you know, I enjoy sex as much as Joe Namath. Only I do it with one girl, you know?
There you go.
But it's still fun.
It wasn't his deal to go hang around bars and chase women or anything like that because, you know, he had a family. He was a solid person. His teammates respected him for that because they knew he wasn't a phony.
And I remember one time we were in a meeting and everybody was dipping snuff or chewing tobacco, you know, and Roger, to be one of the guys, you know, he wanted to dip a snuff, so I gave him some snuff.
And so he took what Walt would call an association dip, a rodeo association dip, which means a handful of this stuff, and he stuck it in his mouth there. And
I got sick. I put it in my mouth and I started swallowing some of that stuff, And so I went in this team meeting, and I started getting sick, and I started sweating, and I sweated so much it just dripped right on the desk. And I wanted to get out of there, but I knew they were looking at me, but the film was going on, it was dark, and they knew I was probably getting sick, because I had never had it before. So I didn't want to get up until the film went off and we got a break.
And we got a sliding glass door in this meeting room, you know, and Roger, he jumps up, goes over, and there's a bunch of rose bushes and stuff out there. And so he just, you know, pukes his guts out, and he comes back, and he's still white, you know, and he sits there for a little while longer, and directly, out he goes again, you know. And Coach Landry said something to the effect that don't ever give Roger any more tobacco, you know.
It's true that Tom Landry called the plays, but Staubach's quick decisions under pressure often made him personally responsible for the Cowboys' success. Always cornered but never conquered, Staubach won the respect of friend and foe alike.
We used to have a saying on the defensive line that we're going to sacrifice our body for the team, and we knew that Roger would sacrifice his body.
I had nothing but the utmost respect for Roger Staubach. He was tough, you know. He took a lot of big hits, but he was one of those guys that always got up and dusted off the seat of his pants, went back in the huddle, never cried, never complained, never rolled around on the ground looking for a flag or anything like that.
When you're knocked down, you either can lay there and not do anything about it, or you get up and do something about it. And I used to like to bounce back also. I mean, I used to like to sometimes be down and have people stepping on me a little bit so I could, you know, kind of recoil and come back.
No player swashed so brave a buckle as the daring midshipman from the Naval Academy. He was an officer and a gentleman. He was a man you trusted instinctively, whose every word you believed, for whose reputation you would fight, and whose friend you longed to be.
Roger Staubach would be what every parent wanted their son to be. He is the epitome of a gentleman. He's the epitome of a guy who commits himself to a cause. I've got more respect for him as an athlete than anybody I've ever played with or coached.
I just don't know, of all the years I played, I just don't know of any player that I played with that disliked Roger Staubach.
There's certain guys you look at that you played against, and I'm proud to tell my kids I played against Roger Staubach.
Roger Staubach, more than an athlete, more than a celebrity, he was a hero.
He can find the open crack, and once he hits that crack, if he has daylight, there's not too many people in pro football that will be able to catch him.
The handoff goes to Dorsett, dances into the secondary, and heads left. The 30 comes right to the 50, to the 40. He's going to score an 84-yard touchdown. Tony Dorsett, 84 yards.
A big play guy, the kind of guy that you'll get down in there, and then boom, 40 yards, 50 yards. He kind of slips and slides, and then when he sees it, he's gone. He's got that kind of acceleration.
Down to the 30, breaks to the right, 35, 40, still on his feet, at the 50, one more block, he might go. He's at the 30, he's being chased at the 20, the 15, the 10, a 75-yard touchdown run for...
He's been, surprisingly enough, he's a better north-south runner than he is east-west runner. He has great feel and recognition when he heads into the line as an inside runner. But you don't think about him being an inside runner because he only weighs 190 pounds. But it's his great acceleration and speed that makes him what he is today.
If you ever watch me play, you'll see when I get a ball, my eyes, they light up like silver dollars. And I'm just looking at everything, and I do see a lot out there. Running a football is instinctive. It's all creative, it's all impromptu, and things are happening very, very quick. And my vision helped me, I think, survive for 9 years in the NFL.
I've got a real unique view of him as a running back. I mean, a literal view from the football field that not many people get to see. I see him hitting the holes, and I see the holes opening and closing, and I see the kind of adjustments he makes. I might be able to make the same adjustment mentally. To do it physically and to be able to combine the two is a tremendous gift, and Tony's got that.
On the fast tracks around the National Football League, Tony Dorsett is the Ferrari of running backs, possessing a passing gear others only dream about. A gear that speed shifts him into the express lane of easy touchdowns. But it is his ability to break, corner, and spin out of trouble that has allowed the sleek, low-slung Dorsett to become only the 6th running back to rush for 10,000 yards. Yet his critics say Dorsett's high-gloss finish conceals a chassis unwilling to take high-speed collisions.
The line on him is the fact that somewhat the same line they had on Franco Harris for so long, is that when he got close to the sideline, he'd run out of bounds.
I think that's kind of a bad rap because Tony is a powerful runner, and he knows when to take a shot and when not to. Now, he's not the kind of runner that's going to run over anybody, really, but he breaks a lot of tackles.
We've hit him, I think, about as hard as you can hit him, and he keeps coming back. That seems to be a constant, you know, he keeps saying, well, some guys, well, we're going to knock this guy's out of there, but hey, you can't knock him out. He's going to come back the next play and may beat you on the very next play. His history against us has been, you stop him, you stop him, you stop him, you stop him, and boom, he's gone for 40 or 50.
I'm not a bulldog type of runner. I didn't come into this business being a bulldog type of runner. I'm a runner that you, your grandmother, or someone else could probably enjoy watching because it's something exciting that's possible to happen at any time on the field. The things that I do, the God-given talents that I have, I think people kind of take them for granted. And one guy can make them look a little more easier than another person, and you know, people kind of say, well, that's just Dorsett, you know, that's just his way of doing things, and I think probably over the years I've just been taken for granted.
Goal line defense for the Vikings, a handoff Dorsett up the middle, here he goes, cuts to his right, going all the way, to the 30, to the 40, he's got 2 men to beat, to the 40, to the 30, to the 20, to the 10, the 5, touchdown! In the record books, 99 yards.
When you look back on it and see Tony Dorsett's name at the top of every running list that was ever compiled, you'll realize how great a running back he really was and is.